Okay, today we're going to be modeling a broom from a popular fantasy magic-based movie. And here's the scene that you've downloaded from the webpage to get us started. Setting this up can be a bit tricky, and we'll cover exactly how in another lesson. But these two items we're going to use to give us the basic outline of the broom. And the goal here isn't to recreate this exact broom. The goal is to create a broom that looks like this and to sort of learn the techniques of creating an object like this in general so that you could create your own broom-shaped object for a video game or a movie. So what we have here is two planes to which we've attached a material that has the image outlines of our object that we're going to be creating. And I've set self-illumination to 100 so that we don't get shadows. Okay? There's a couple ways of doing this, and this is just the way that I like to do it. So the first thing, we need to set this up so we can start modeling. We're not going to worry about the kickstand right now, so I'm going to right click on this and hide selection. We don't need it right now. So we're going to start with just the broom profile. And the first thing I want to do is make it so that I don't want to move this while I'm editing, right? So I right click, object properties, and I want to show frozen in gray. I want to uncheck that. Click OK. And then I want to freeze it. If we hadn't done that, when we went to freeze it, it would have totally blanked out this image. So now this object is completely unable to be interacted with. Perfect. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to use some of the mesh smooth, turbo smooth modeling concepts that we've talked about. Specifically, we are going to use turbo smooth for this. It's a more direct modeling solution. And we're just going to start with the broom handle here. Okay, and I'm going to start at one end, and this end is probably the easier end to start with, but this is the end that's sort of more important, and so I want to start here. That way I can pay more attention and I can finish just by capping it off. So I'm going to start with a box. I'm going to go to my front view, the F key, and I'm going to build a box right here, and the depth of it doesn't quite matter. I'm going to make use of holding down the Alt key and holding down my middle mouse button to pan around. Okay, and I don't usually like the orthographic view, but for designing objects it can actually be useful because I want the width of the broom handle to be the same here as it is here, and if we get into the perspective mode, some of that can be skewed by the way the perspective looks. Okay, so I'm just going to make use of hitting the F key to sort of reset the view and holding down Alt and the middle mouse button to get a sort of a check on it as I'm working. I'll be doing that several times. So the first thing I want to do is make this about the right width. And I don't have a profile of what the width is, but I think it should be a little bit narrower than it is tall. That's my sense of, how the character in the movie sort of rides the broom. It's a little bit narrower than it is tall. Okay, and again, this isn't about making a perfect broom. It's about making this sort of high detail, nice, smooth looking object. So we got our starter box. I'm going to right click on this, convert to editable poly. Okay, and I'm going to make use of the 1, 2, 3, and 4 keys, along with the WER, move, rotate, scale keys that we've learned before. Okay, 1 selects vertices to move, or scale, or rotate. 2 selects edges. 3 selects borders, which we'll get to in a second. And 4 selects faces, or polygons. Okay, so I'm going to delete this back polygon. And this is just a style of modeling that we're going to see here. It's not the right style for every activity, but it'll work for us. Okay. And now I can select this polygon with the border tool. Okay. And I'm going to just start to move this into position roughly here and increase its size a bit, and we'll fix this here in a second. So that looks about right. I'm going to go back to my move tool, hold down the shift key, and drag just to the left, just along this x-axis. And I'm just going to repeat this move, scale, hold down shift, move, scale, hold down shift process. Okay, I can turn on edged faces to see how I'm going, and I can go back into the front view, and I can do this all the way down the length of my broom. Again, sort of resetting it with going back to our front view, holding down shift, and we'll refine this later, but this should get us most of the way there. Okay, that looks good. And we're going to select this border at the end, and we're going to cap it off now. Okay, so we have a rough broom shape, and I need to fix this detail up here in the front, and we're going to make use of the other tool that we're going to use a lot in this activity, this Swift Loop tool. Okay, this is just a quick way of adding geometry to an object. So I can turn it off now, and I added a loop here that I can rotate into sort of this angle and increase its size, and then I can select this face. Okay, and you just sort of small changes, rotate, move, scale, rotate, move, scale, just small iterative changes. Okay. And you'll see if I double click on an edge, it selects the entire loop. Okay, handy for shortcutting our workload. Okay, something like this looks good to me for right now. Okay, I have the rough broom shape. Okay. And in the next video, we'll look at refining this and sort of how to watch what we're doing while we're doing it. How to get a refined version on the screen.